Good morning, folks. I hope you guys are doing well. Happy Thursday. Welcome to Advisory. Today, what we're doing is an academic reset. We're going to be taking a look back at semester one in terms of our academic performance, the grades that we got in class, and we're going to look ahead to the rest of the semester to see what we need to do to improve or how we can keep doing the good things that we were already doing. So first off, make sure that everybody has their report card in their hand for the rest of this video. So if you need to pause it right now, go ahead and do that. Also, you're going to need your computer, not during the video, but right after. If you don't have a computer, your phone will work, but it's honestly a lot better on a computer. And you should bring your charged district device every day in order to be successful here at WTY. Okay, so we're going to reflect on the fall semester and we're going to plan for the spring semester. So the reflection questions for the fall start off with just taking a good look at your grades and attendance record for all 10 of your classes. What were your grades and how often did you go to class? Then you think about, given those grades or given what you know about your schedule, which classes were easiest for you and which maybe were more difficult. You want to think about what your academic habits were in the fall. By academic habits, I just mean the things that you do to do schoolwork. Do you procrastinate? Do you get things done? Is there a certain time of day that you get things done better than others? Do you keep a calendar? Is it hard for you to keep a calendar? Take an honest look at your own habits in terms of schoolwork and think about which habits may have helped you and which habits may need to change. And then the last question you want to think about is, what were your priorities last semester? How did your grades reflect those priorities? How did your attendance reflect those priorities? Was there other stuff going on in your life that made it difficult to prioritize schoolwork at times? It's just taking an honest look about where your mind was at over the course of the semester. And then you're going to plan. You're going to think ahead to the rest of the semester. Knowing what you know about how you did during the first semester will inform your plan for the spring semester. So the first thing to think about is, if you lost credit, which we're going to talk more about here in a minute, what do you need to do to make sure you get that credit? And what are you doing to make sure that you are completing graduation requirements, which credits are? Remember that it's not like middle school where your grades don't really count as far as your permanent record. In high school, you have a transcript that has credits. And if you do not have enough credits, you can't graduate from high school. And that's all based on state law. That's not just a WT White thing. And then thinking ahead to this semester, what might be different about your overall schedule? Maybe you have a different school schedule where you're taking different classes than you were in the first semester. Maybe you're playing a spring sport that you didn't have to think about in the fall semester, and now you have to work your schoolwork around practice and games and matches or whatever. So think about how that will change how you manage your own time. And then whether or not your schedule changed, what changes might you need to make in the way that you approach school, in the way that you've been doing things to ensure your success. And the last question is similar to the last question of the reflection, which is, what are your priorities this semester? So if you find that maybe your priorities were not exactly where you want them to be last semester, how can we resituate those to where you can prioritize the things that are important? Okay, with all of that in mind, I want you to look at your report card. Make sure you have it in your hands in front of you, because this fake report card that I reprinted here on this slide directly reflects what is on your report card. And I'm going to use this fake report card to show you how to read your real report card. Okay, so going from left to right, you have your description of the course and the name of the teacher. The next column tells you what term it was. Most of these are going to say FYT, and I think that stands for full year term. Some of them, like health or other one semester classes, might say just S1, but most of them are going to say FYT. In the next column, you've got the grades for last semester, which are split between cycle 1 and cycle 2. Those are the 9 weeks. And you've got your exam grade as well, whatever you got on the final exam. A quick note here, if you took a makeup ACP, the grade may not yet be on this column. All right, Miss Robinson wanted me to tell you that. So if you took a makeup ACP with Miss Robinson, the grade may not be there yet, but it is being counted. All right, but then we get to the good stuff, the stuff that you should definitely pay attention to. Right here, you've got your semester average, and that is your full grade for the full semester in that class. That's an average of your cycle 1 and cycle 2 and your exam grade. Right next to that is credits earned, and you'll have one of these 3 options. It'll either be 0.5, a 0, or this little dash star dash. And I'll explain that in a minute. Don't worry about the conduct section. I don't think there's very much in there, if at all. You should always worry about your conduct, but don't worry about this section for now. And then you've got your absence count, your excused absences and your unexcused absences for the cycle 1 and cycle 2. And then most of the comments should be blank, but there might be this message right here, credit denied due to absences. So let me make sure you know what each of these mean under the credits earned column. If you got 0.5, that means great job. You received credit for the semester, you were present enough times, you made a passing grade, and you received the half credit for the one semester. If it's a year-long class, you'll receive the other half of the credit after the spring semester if you keep up the good work. If this column says 0, then that means you did not earn the credit yet due to your grades. You will only receive credit at the end of the year if each semester averages over 70%. So, for instance, on my fake report card in algebra, I did not do super well. I got a 55 the first grading cycle, then a 65, a 55 on the exam, and I don't know if this actually averages out because clearly I'm not that great at math, but say that I got a 60. I got a 0 under credits earned because I did not make over a 70 for the first semester. But if I get a grade next semester that can average out with this 60 to make over 70,
which in my calculations would have to be at least 80.
Then at the end of the spring semester, this will be a 1. So if you got a 0 under credits earned, you still may be able to, in the spring semester, work really hard and get a grade that averages with this to make at least 70. So that's how to fix a 0 under credits earned. Focus on those classes and work really hard this semester to make it average out to a 70 if possible. And the last possibility is this scary little dash star dash, which means this. Credit denied due to absences, and you'll see that phrase in the comments section. That means that you have to go through the attendance for credit process, which I will tell you about now. The reason that we focus so much on attendance is not a W.T. White thing. It's not a Dallas ISD thing. It is a state law that requires students to be in class 90% of the time that the class meets to receive credit. Both excused absences and unexcused absences count towards this according to the law. And if you look at my example in Spanish, I got a 92. I got an A in the class. Maybe I was really good at Spanish, maybe I was naturally talented, but I still got the credit denied because I was absent over 10% of the time that the class met. And as the law states, it's excused or unexcused absences that count towards it. So if it's unexcused absences, maybe I'm skipping a lot, maybe I'm just not going to class, that's definitely going to count towards it. But even excused absences, say that I had 0 unexcused absences, but I maybe was really sick and had to go to the hospital or had to be out of school for a long period of time for a bunch of days, I still, unfortunately, am denied credit because of absences. So even if you bring an excuse note, even if you have a doctor's note, that still counts towards your absences as far as the state is concerned. And you can thank the great state of Texas for that. So if your report card for a class says that you were denied credit due to absences, there is a way to fix it. First, you need to meet with your counselor and ask for an AFC petition. If you don't know who your counselor is, you can go to Longhorn Country to the counselor tab, find which counselor correlates with your last name, and go see them. They will then give you a petition that you have to fill out and return to the counselor. If you are approved, if they approve your petition, then you'll have to go to AFC, attendance for credit, on the days that are offered. So make sure to go see your counselor as the first step if you were denied credit, and they'll help you out.
But Mr. Hall, when is credit recovery? When can I go?
Mr. Hall, I'm so glad you asked that. Let's go now to the schedule. Here is the fall credit recovery schedule. This will be the last chance to recover credit from the fall. It's going to be Monday through Friday, February 12th through the 16th in the library, except for the 13th. That's in the cafeteria. And then there are a couple of Saturday sessions offered as well, the 10th and the 24th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And depending on what grade you are in, you need to know these people. They are your credit recovery advisors and can help you get this credit back. In 9th grade, it's Miss Kirsch. In 10th grade, it's Mrs. Jones and Miss Kennedy. In 11th grade, it's Miss Mitchell and Mr. Bedoya. In 12th grade, it is Miss Devers and Miss Velez. So if you have the little star, if you're denied credit, these are the steps that you need to take. I've got this schedule on Longhorn Country right at the top so you can see it. So make sure you take care of business. But whether you were denied credit or not, you're going to be doing this academic reflection today in advisory. You're going to do something similar to what we did yesterday to get the document. It'll be bit.ly/capital S1REF. Y en español, bit.ly/S1REFES para español. And there you will make a copy of this document where the first question just asks you to put in your grades and your total amount of absences in each class. So just look at your report card and put the numbers for 1st through 5th and 6th through 10th. You're going to take some time to write out which classes were easiest for you, which were more difficult, and why. You're going to describe a few academic habits that helped you and maybe ones that you want to change. And then the last 3 questions ask you to write out a little bit of a plan for this semester. If you had a low grade, no grade, or were denied credit, what do you need to do in order to get that credit? Number 2, just in general, what are some things happening this semester that you want to be ready for? Are there any big exams happening in the spring? Are there any big projects that you know are going to be coming up? How can you plan ahead for those things? And the last question is, what are your personal priorities this semester? What is most important to you in terms of school and academics? And you'll do that reflection that is just for you and your advisors to talk through. But I want you to take some time, whether things went well for you and you got really good grades, what are some of the things that you want to keep up and keep doing? Or if there were some bad grades or denied credit, how do you want to change some things to improve? No matter where you're at grades-wise, everybody can always stand to get better. And so use this opportunity to think about how you could do that. That's all from me. Be good to yourself and others, and I will see you real soon.